Welcome to another Take 5, your 5-minute inspirational message from Solid Rock Drogheda. You know, sometimes I wish I could put you on the other side of the camera to just see what happens whenever we're filming these messages. You just see me sitting here talking, hopefully looking reasonably natural. But in fact, we've got lights, we've got tripods, we've got microphones, cameras, and it's pretty chaotic. I mean, trying to live in a home while it is also a recording studio is something I've never experienced before, and I don't know if I ever want to experience it again. But the wonderful thing, of course, is that we don't have to worry about visitors arriving unexpectedly and finding all the recording equipment making the place a mess, because we're on lockdown. Nobody's calling. Nobody's coming near the place. But there is an account in the Bible at the end of Luke and chapter 10 where you have Jesus turning up with his disciples at the house of Mary and Martha. Now, an unexpected arrival at any time can be pressurized, but Jesus is traveling with his disciples. Now, this may mean that he had 12 other people with him, so there's 13 of them. But in fact, if you look at the context of Luke chapter 10, it runs on from where Jesus sent out the 70 disciples, 2 by 2, and they came back reporting all the great things that had happened, and demons being cast out and people being healed and miracles and all the rest of it, and then runs into some teaching that Jesus shared, and then we have him arriving at the house of Mary and Martha. So it's entirely possible that Jesus turns up on their doorstep and there's 71 of them, which explains why Martha is so frazzled. I mean, just imagine it. Just imagine 71, or even at the best case scenario, 13 guests arriving unexpectedly. And so Martha's busying around, making sure that they're all served, doing the stuff which really we say you should do as a Christian. You're supposed to serve others. I mean, that's what the gospel is about. That's what Christian living is about. We've to have the same attitude in us as Christ Jesus, who made himself a servant. He said, if you want to be great in God's kingdom, learn to be the servant of all. And Martha is being the servant. She's doing an amazing job of service, which is where we should expect Jesus to be telling her, oh, Martha, you're doing such an amazing job. You're the best Christian woman in the world. Instead, she comes in and says, Lord, look, my sister's just sat there at your feet listening to you, and I need her help. There's like this crowd of people. Will you come and help me? And Jesus said, you shouldn't be so hassled. You shouldn't be so frazzled, because Mary has chosen the better part. Now, how can that be? How can Jesus seem to be contradicting what he said elsewhere about the importance of serving other people? Well, of course, the fact of the matter is this, that if you serve people without spending time with Jesus, your service is only going to make you hassled and frantic and even bitter and resentful because other people aren't serving the way you are. And I've seen this happen in churches. I've seen people that start off with a good heart and they love to serve God's people. And then they look around and they see other people who aren't doing anything. And they wonder, how come I'm the one that's always left to set out the chairs? How come I'm the one who's always left to lock up the building after everyone has gone? How come nobody else ever stays to the end to do that? And they begin getting resentful at other people. And once that attitude comes in, then you know what? The joy goes out. And that's what Jesus was saying to Martha. You know, it wasn't that it was wrong to serve people, but in order to serve them effectively, she also had to spend time with Jesus. And I would encourage you this day, you're serving other people? Great! That's wonderful. Please continue to serve other people. Continue to bless people. Continue to look for ways you can make other people's lives more meaningful. But don't neglect to spend time with Jesus. The fact of the matter is, when you spend time with Jesus, you will have the time to do everything else that you have to do. I think it was Martin Luther that once said this. He said, I'm so busy that I can't get everything done in the day unless I spend 4 hours in prayer at the beginning of the day. And that would seem counterintuitive. We would say, well, if he's going to spend all that time in prayer, he's not going to have the time to do the stuff he needs to do. But he discovered when he spent time with Jesus that he had the time. Why? Because the correct attitude, when you have the attitude of sitting at Jesus' feet, then you will have the attitude of serving others with a glad heart rather than a resentful heart, and then our service becomes a joy rather than a burden. It's not a choice between service and spending time with Jesus. We actually got to do both. Look, join us again tomorrow for another Take 5 inspirational message from Solid Rock Drogheda.